Sounds like in these things. All right, let's welcome everybody. Need you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Exactly. Let us pray.
Gracious God, we give you thanks for the beauty of this day and for a chance to be together once again. Continue to guide our hearts and minds, as well as find ways for us to use our hands and hearts to be in service to you. We pray all this in your holy name. Amen.
All right, thank you.
You paused.
Well, here, right? There. Hey everybody, I'm gonna get started here. Feel free to keep munching if you are. A few club announcements. First, make sure everybody, especially if you haven't been here in a while, this is your parking pass to get out. You got a ticket when you came in, you put this little sticky on your ticket. This is your get out of parking lot free card. So if anybody needs that, there's one up here. We're not quite to the tail twister yet, but there's also pins up here for sale. If anybody wants to discreetly come up and purchase a pin before Mr. Jamie finds you. A couple other items. I want to just make, I guess, an announcement or give some awareness that I want to make sure everybody's getting emails from the club. Cheryl sends out pretty regular emails. The dues and your invoice also go via email. So if you're not getting pretty regular emails, we may have the wrong email address for you. So if you're not getting emails from the club, please let me know and we'll track it down and make sure it's going to the right address for you. Anybody have a bowling update from last night? I was not able to attend. Mr. Brady.
Everybody beat me, that's all I know.
So last night we had 11 bowlers, and then dinner. I wrote a nice little note, so I get all the money out of the checking account. The checking account is closed. We have no more funds, and we spent it all last night. Oh, I rolled a 197. Jeff has not paid me the $1,000. He better.
Stakes got bigger as the innings continued.
Double or nothing.
Double. Okay. Next one. We have a service project upcoming November 18th, 6 to 8 p.m. at ABBI. Kelly, anything else to add there? Let Kelly know if you can make it. Doing lots of cleaning and work around the facility. Is that
Yeah.
proper way to describe that?
Organize things.
Organize things. Next in chronological order, well, actually, another item I wanted to just address. Again, many of you saw an email, but of course, Mary Brady passed away. That is our first induction of the Memorial Giving Fund. So if you are part of that group, in the next few weeks, you're going to see $100 come out of your account to go towards that memorial fund. This is also a great time to say if you'd like to join that group, please see myself or Don or somebody from the fundraising or the foundation committee if you'd like to join and aren't already part of it. As a reminder, that's just a group that pulls together. You donate $100 anytime a lion or their spouse passes away, and it goes into our new Flex Foundation fund.
The application was on the email.
And the application was on the email. I also have an announcement to make on the holiday shopping, which was slated to be Saturday, December 6th. There's some events kind of beyond our control with the third-party organization we work with, where they've kind of lost their building and their nonprofit status, from what I understand. And so we've basically come to a point where we really can't facilitate that with the kids this year. The board has become aware of this, as has the committee, and we're redirecting those funds to a couple other charities, Baker Community Center and Family Promise, to help try to give try to get those dollars, to use to kids in the area that can use them during the holiday season, so. And do you want to say anything else? Does that kind of cover it generally, or is it, I'm happy to answer questions for anybody if I can.
There will be an email going out, to all of you who signed up, and we're extremely grateful for your, your volunteering and donations as well as our, membership owners, which is Myers and, Advanced Wealth Management. So there will be an email explaining it more in detail. So it's Baxter Community Center, which, where's Megan put out, did some research on some of the things through Cherry Hill that, organizations that could, at this point, this short timeline could help to direct those funds, as well as what we could do as a modified kind of thing this year. And, we'll be meeting after for a short meeting and finalizing that, but yeah, it's after 33 years. The funds for the nonprofit were eliminated and the building was shut down. So these kids are, they're in our hearts, and we're gonna, the ones at Baxter has a program that they really do a phenomenal job with. It's community based. The focus is on families and kids, and everybody that would receive any kind of funding or any kind of holiday basket or whatever has already been vetted. So we'll send out an email. Any questions?
Gary?
So those that have signed up to work, to volunteer physically on that Saturday, 6th, I'm not gonna be.
Correct.
Correct.
You will all, I will, in case nuts, I don't wanna miss anybody and him showing up at 7. God and I know, you had 7 at night, so we don't want to hit that happen, so, but we are extremely grateful and appreciative of your, your volunteering, and then we'll move forward and see where we go, next year for these kinds of, continuation.
All right, thank you, Ann. Speaking of Saturdays in December, the following Saturday, December 13th, is the holiday social at Blythefield. We'll be sending out RSVP and info in the coming weeks for that, but just to mark your calendar. With that, any other updates for the good of the club? I know I'll also mention Drive for Vision. We have a meeting via Zoom next Tuesday on the 11th. Just to kind of continue to press forward with that stuff. So I see many faces in the crowd that are part of that group, so I look forward to seeing you there. Anybody else have anything for the club? Okay, I'll turn it over to Jamie. Okay, good.
Up here. Well, I believe there are any guests here today, correct?
Just the speaker.
Just the speaker, who gets introduced later, that's and I'll try to give one of my income sources, but anybody that didn't wear a pin today, and you had to grab one out of there, that's cheap. But I didn't look around, if there's anybody that doesn't have their pin with them, for that, after that, I look at Happy Bucks. And I would think there would be at least 17 times more Happy Bucks, considering there are a number of people that were gone for 17 days overseas. And there aren't that many people out there that can do that. And I would think you'd be very happy that you were in that group. So I'll wait for a few people to start donating, It did used to be with Danny Tier that was where the Happy Bucks started to a degree, is when people would go away and get vacations, and it's sort of like not everybody can do that. And so I thought I'd start there, and I went away and I'm putting in Happy Bucks. I didn't go on that trip, but I got to go and see my daughter and her boyfriend, who's a really nice guy. And we had a great time out in Oregon.
$17.
Perfect.
$1 a day.
Anybody else that's, and want to say anything? I don't know, say, but I.
Mine are not happy having to spend it with all those.
That is your decision.
Particularly after the 3 weeks prior to that, I was walking the El Camino Trail in Spain. And that was
That you gotta be very happy about, I'm praying hard for that.
Yeah.
And, I could do it, so,
Ms. Caroline.
okay.
Well, speaking of trips, I'm celebrating another trip around the sun, so happy I'm still on the side of the grass.
Yeah.
We were fortunate to be on that trip, and it was a great time, not just seeing a lot of cathedrals and mosques and castles, but the group we were with, so highly recommend taking a vacation with a bunch of great wines.
And Rick,
Our daughter came in town for the weekend. We went to the game on Saturday, which was described as having to eat a gas station burrito, and we were expecting a ribeye. And then our granddaughter, she won.
cool. Any other happy bucks? Okay, yes, I guess we're looking at the raffle. Oh, I need to collect the, name now. Thank you. I have not pulled the white one out. Well, it's out there, okay. Okay, a little later. That's true. First one for $5. That one seems like that too. Yep. That one, that you know. Last 4 digits, 4969.
Turn it upside down, I'm close.
That's fine.
Okay. Kyle again.
Kyle again.
Here's one lucky.
Yep.
Things happen to good people, go well.
Never win.
The white one's going in, don't pull mine.
Okay. And our, yeah, you would. The second one gets half the pot if we get, you know, the white one. Okay. And that's amazing. This one's 4968. The last one was 4969. I can't put it up high enough so he can't see it.
How come he had all that stickum on his finger?
All right, there's about like 40 minutes. Nah. 39.
You're a rude.
Yeah, you can feel the law.
Thank you.
And I'll have Shelley come up and announce our speaker who's gonna talk to us about the 175th anniversary of Grand Rapids and the 250th anniversary of our country.
Hey, President Kyle. Get ready, we are celebrating 250 years in 2026. So Grand Rapids is celebrating, a stellar committee's been put together and ready to get the word out. So Matt Ray is our spokesperson, talking about how we as Lions potentially get involved. This is an initiative focused on using America's 250th birthday to inspire and cultivate us as a civic group, one of the best in the city, the best in the city. And of course, getting the word out is the key to the start. So we will set the bar high. I challenge you. So Matt Ray, come on up. You are with the Highland Group. 3 fun facts, as we always do. He's a program manager with our GRA250, former high school teacher. Asked him about social studies. Zealand, of course, where he spent his day, as also a swim coach. swam at Hope College, and of course, dove as well, so get some free tips. 9-year-old gymnast, 7-year-old football player, so your hands are full, I gave you that.
Thanks so much for having me today. It's an honor. I was in the car this morning heading downtown and my dad calls me, which isn't an unusual, situation, but hey Dad, how's it going? He's heading to Lansing. He's giving a talk today. I said, oh, I'm giving a talk as well. I'm gonna be with the Grand Rapids Lions. And if he wasn't over the moon about knowing that I'm getting involved with clubs like yours, organizations like yours, but it makes so much sense, as I talk about Grand Rapids, as we talk about America and the American spirit, nothing embodies that more than groups like yours. So I really appreciate being here and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more. As Shelley mentioned, America is turning 250 years old in 2026. And across the country, there are celebrations, there's initiatives happening. And the question of what can Grand Rapids do was something that a few civic leaders started pondering months back. As we think about Grand Rapids and the whole landscape of this national moment, what better place to not only celebrate, but establish or reestablish rather those guiding principles that the Declaration of Independence set out to establish so long ago. And so what this means for us is this is an opportunity to, again, not only celebrate, but figure out how do we get back to that? How do we find that American spirit that is happening at the corner of Grand Rapids every day that somehow, some way, a lot of us have lost our sight towards? And that's where I go back, service organizations, the lifeblood of that American spirit. And so it's great to talk to you about this. I look forward to kind of filling you in here. Aspirational is at the moment we are aspirational. And I say that because we're kind of building the ship as we're flying it in a lot of different ways. But what I want to just keep your eye on here is the fact that this is certainly a celebration. It's also a time to get involved. It's also a time to think, okay, how can we do better over the next 250 years? That's the question that we want to answer with this initiative across the calendar. And I go back to that idea of why Grand Rapids? Well, let's remember our last big milestone, the bicentennial. Gerald Ford was our president, and some in the room might even remember the celebrations that happened across Grand Rapids during that bicentennial. So I want to take a pause real quick. If 1976 was our bicentennial, what's the 2026 version? You know what we call that? 250 years? Semi-quincentennial, very good, yes. We have a little bit more of a mouthful this time around, but again, this idea from going from bicentennial to semi-quincentennial. We started with Grand Rapids, let's choose the 250th anniversary to continue using Grand Rapids as a model for what civic progress can look like. Most important as we go about this, and our steering committee that I'll talk more about here in a few minutes, very, very intentional. That this is about principles. It's not about politics. Mayor LeGrand yesterday had a good comment to add on to this. We can even go beyond this because politics in its nature is hard to get away from, and civic progress is political very much. And so we want to say it's about principles, not partisanship. That's going to be very important to us as Grand Rapidians. What can we do to make sure that this is, again, focusing in on those guiding principles and not those challenges that divide us? So we'll keep that in mind as we go. Well, let's talk about those guiding principles that we want to reestablish throughout this opportunity throughout 2026. There's three major guiding principles that, again, as we aspire to what this celebration can look like, we want to empower everyone, but it's difficult when that empowerment, isn't necessarily a structured event. There's plenty of events happening, but those are in between various groups, those that are inspired to do things. And so these guiding principles are what we want to make sure remain steadfast with no matter what happens. throughout this celebration. And we'll talk more about more of the concrete ideas and what's actually happening in a minute. But I want to make sure that we understand that it's these three guiding principles that all we do throughout 2026 are led by these. And the first one is people, the inherent worth of everyone in America, and not only their story, but how their story and your story intersect to build what we have today, for better or worse. But how can we make sure that GRA250 is an opportunity to lift up all voices, to get everyone involved in the celebration and in the civic commitment? We also want to acknowledge purpose. The Declaration set out the ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all 250 years ago. And so as we engage with all walks of people throughout Grand Rapids, what are their purposes not only in this celebration, but what can we leave them with for the next 250 years to build upon that legacy? So, you know, whether it's the big events, whether it's volunteer opportunities, where are we planting purpose with each group within Grand Rapids? It's going to be very important for this initiative. And finally, progress goes back a little bit more to the idea that this is about principles, not politics, that progress is messy. Progress is a roller coaster, and sometimes we don't get it right the first time, but we can always do better. And so as we go through and honor our past and acknowledge those areas where we can do better, we do so in a way that knows that that's what progress looks like. And if we get the right people, if we get all the people together to make this happen, then that progress, again, in Grand Rapids can serve as that model across the country. So let's back up a little bit and let's talk about where this comes from. Like I said, this is a national movement, but here in Grand Rapids, we thought this is the perfect place to make this celebration have the biggest impact across the country. And so months ago, long before I was involved, we brought a group of Grand Rapidians from all walks of life, all areas of leadership, from business people, civic leaders, educators, artists, and the like. We came together and thought, okay, what could this look like? And what we decided way back when was that certainly this is going to be a celebration. And this group of people in front of you right now are charged with making sure that we honor that celebration, but also knowing that it's a real opportunity to bring even more people together. And how can we utilize all of our various networks to really empower people to make a difference, not only during the 2026 celebration, but above and beyond? And what this group of people found was that we needed lots and lots of planning. And so they quickly put together these various planning subcommittees. And, you know, we really run a full spectrum of industry, of topics here, all in the effort to say, okay, if nothing else, can we cast this wide net and get all of these different types of groups together to build something really special? And so Shelley, a great introduction. For me, she represents GRA250 in the community groups planning subcommittee, and she's been instrumental in connecting me with all sorts of people like yourselves to be able to spread this message and just raise awareness. And then we also have, you know, K-12 education, being able to go across Grand Rapids and get kids and staff excited as well. We just wrapped up a project with the K-12 subcommittee, Simple School Kids. So a book of poems that talk about our American history, information about how to get more involved with the initiative, some swag, because the kids need their stickers, they need their buttons and their posters. So we put all this together in a box and we brought them across Grand Rapids so that we know that all schools are involved with this as well. So that's just a little preview, a little sample of what the different subcommittees are working on. And again, they're all aligned to their various industries as well. So as we go through, we'll see a lot of big events that have many of these subcommittees involved. We have smaller initiatives, volunteering hours or other events that specific subcommittees are working on by just themselves. And I mentioned that just to remind everyone, this initiative is very much a place to empower and see what we can make happen, not to necessarily put any group into a box and say, we need you to do this. If groups come to us and ask, hey, how can we help? We're certainly happy to provide opportunities. But, you know, throughout all of this, we want to make sure that your purpose is true to your heart. So how do we get involved? Like I said, up to this point, things have been very aspirational. I had the privilege of walking into this a few months ago and seeing so many big ideas up on the planning board and picking and choosing and deciding, okay, if we do these things, you know, can we mark that as a successful initiative across this celebration? The steering committee, you know, agrees, and so we have various ways that are already established, various opportunities to get involved. But again, I'll keep going back to that idea that just because it's not on the, you know, the GRA250.com events calendar right now, doesn't mean it can't be in the future. And so what we want to do is we want to show what we are planning in the hopes that not only people will come out and enjoy, but also does it spark some kind of inspiration for your own events as well. So let's talk about a little bit of the specifics here, but you know, I go back to this idea that we're celebrating GRA250, but it's also a call to action. It's also an opportunity to begin that dialogue again that we have lost sight of. And as we reflect on our common history, what can we use to build upon the next 250 years? And it takes everyone. This is not a successful initiative if we are not reaching every corner of Grand Rapids and learning the stories of what makes each and every neighborhood and community within Grand Rapids special, that weaves that common thread for our progress throughout our time. And ultimately, that civic engagement, we hope, can be a basis to have the next 250 years lean on. Can we have this future rooted in purpose, pride, and participation in a way that the next generations can carry it on as well? It's a bold, big thing to say, hey, we're going to make this happen. But that's where everyone is so pivotal to this moment. It's not just the steering committee or planning subcommittees. It's knowing that each and every one of us has the power to spark a conversation and get that civic dialogue going once again. It can be a conversation. It can be attending a school board meeting. It can be, you know, organizing a neighborhood cleanup. It's those foundational pieces of what make us a productive society that we need to remember. That's all it takes. We can do simple things to engage with one another and show that we're all in this together. But we also have the big things. We're calling them our signature initiatives. And planning is still in the works for sure for a lot of this, but you are the first community group to kind of get a preview of what's happening. So 4 big tent poles that again are guiding us and especially my work. I was brought in to kind of see these projects to fruition here. So the first one, really excited about, it's called Democracy Cafe. You can imagine the Democracy Cafe like your local food truck, branded up in GRA250 branding. And we'll go around to the different neighborhoods, different communities. If there's events, we'll attend the events. And you can stop by, get a hot cup of coffee, some hot cocoa. Once it gets a little warmer, we'll do some popsicles or some ice cream. And so we can enjoy a refreshment, but also enjoy the pop-up museum exhibit that we have. The goal is to have Civics 101 material, reminding people of those foundational, those foundational pieces of what makes democracy great, and how we can get involved. We also want to talk about the history of Grand Rapids and our civic progress that we've made, and provide opportunities for people to get involved and specifically commit to those civic actions that we can do each and every day. And so, you know, if you can imagine a guest enjoying their hot cocoa, learning a little bit about Grand Rapids history, and having an opportunity, whether through video or signing their commitment, to say, I'm going to start attending school board meetings. And that's going to be my way of getting a little bit more involved. So excited about the Democracy Cafe, excited to start showing off pictures of it. We're working on getting it fabricated right now. And then we're going to have our schedule on GRA250.com, so we can keep on the lookout for where it will be, when. And of course, we need to build a robust volunteering database to operate this thing each and every day. Hopefully, we want to get it to as many events as we can. We're also, of course, planning a true celebration. I keep saying, yeah, it's a celebration, but really it's civic commitment, because it is. But we gotta have a party. And so plans are in the works right here. We will have an event at the amphitheater, should be freshly opened. Entertainment, fireworks, all that good stuff. Some details are under wraps at the moment, but excited about posting more details about what we're planning for that 4th of July celebration. We're also acknowledging that, not everyone's gonna get to the amphitheater. So what can we do to not only have this great party, but make sure that it's spread across the city? And so we're planning what's called a block party in a box, party supplies, civic dialogue, prompts, that type of stuff to have people sign up and drop these off across town. And so no matter if you're at the amphitheater or in one of the various neighborhoods, you're a part of this common celebration that's happening. So more to come on that. No celebrations complete without a time capsule. So we're plans are in the works here to gather input from all the various subcommittees in their industries about, what should we contribute? What can we build in this capsule to really embody 2025 for them to dig up however many years in the future here. And then finally, a little bit more TBD here, but youth initiative, we know that we want to get the youth involved in some meaningful way. We don't know exactly what that looks like yet, because it's not up to us to determine that. And so we're hard at work with the Mayor's Youth Council to work on what this can be for the youth in the community. How can they build upon this legacy and celebration with us? Excited to talk about that more as we know more. But we're on the schedule of the Mayor's Youth Council there, and that's okay. So a little bit about that, the signature initiatives. What I wanted to really come here today and tell you about is not only all the big details, but a simple reminder about how we get involved. And again, I mentioned that we want to be aspirational, we want to be powerful here, because this is how we get involved best. Individual efforts that are really quite small, and all we need to do is start reaching out. So obviously, GRA250 subcommittees, they're always taking more ideas and more members if you want to be involved. I can get you connected with a subcommittee of your choice, should that resonate with you. But, these other three here, sparking civic learning and dialogue, strengthening community ties, it's a double there, sorry about that. That is the secret sauce here. Being able to come together and have these conversations about what makes not only Grand Rapids special, but what we can be proud of in 250 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and how we can all work together to make it better. That civic dialogue is going to be the most important thing that we can do throughout this movement and beyond, as we, start to learn a little bit more about our neighbors. So that's my challenge. No matter what you're involved in, no matter what events we're attending, being able to talk with one another, being able to remind each other that this is all of our moment, and progress only happens when we work together. We can attend events, but at the same time, the businesses and institutions and foundations that are represented in this room and many others that I'm speaking at, those are opportunities as well. And so whether it's empowering your workforces to get involved with events, planning your own volunteering hours, these are moments where each and every organization is pivotal for being able to spread the awareness to every citizen. And so I just encourage you, if you're a part of a business, if you're a part of a larger organization that can get a movement started, no matter how small, do it. This is our moment to let everyone know that this celebration is for everyone. And finally, simply GRA250.com. This is where all of our events will be posted. This is where we'll start to build more and more information of not only about the celebration, but again, Civics 101, the foundational education about why this matters so much. So check it out. It'll be an ever-growing website. We're also available on all the social media platforms. So we encourage you to certainly follow us on, you can search GRA250 on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, we're there. But, you know, I also, I want people to follow us on social media, but at the same time, those are just platforms, right? The real social media that can happen in the coffee shops and in the restaurants and in clubs like this, that's where the true social media impact can be. And so I just encourage you to get out there and if nothing else, just let your neighbor know that this is happening. There are ways to get involved in meaningful, planningsful ways. Then there's also ways to get involved from just being a citizen and enjoying the events that we'll have lined up. And I think that's about it, really. I appreciate you giving me the platform here to raise awareness. But you know, this is such a big initiative. And if it wasn't for groups like this, if it wasn't for the citizens of Grand Rapids being aware, all of our efforts are, you know, are just, you know, they're not as impactful. And so I encourage you to get involved. Encourage you to ask questions with me right now, or simply visit GRA250.com in the future to learn about more events. So any questions from that?
Will you be sending us updates? Through Shelley even?
Yeah, we can certainly do that, absolutely. There's a couple different layers of GRA250. One of them is the opportunity to sign up for our newsletter. So we're pushing a lot of updates out through that newsletter. But yeah, as we go, whether it be the quarterly steering committee meetings or the monthly subcommittee meetings, we'll be providing updates to those chairs to disseminate as they wish. Yeah. Yeah.
Where does funding come from?
It's a great question. So funding is coming from our philanthropy committee. Our philanthropy committee is tasked with kind of twofold. So the first part was understanding that there's a lot of projects in the subcommittees that will need funding. So that first round happened in September, where they submitted their projects, talking about what they wanted to do, how much they were looking for. And now it's up to our philanthropy committee to connect with local foundations, local corporate sponsors, to build up that funding pool for us to start giving out to the subcommittees. But yeah, any type of corporate sponsorship is available, any type of community group sponsorships are available, absolutely. And then we'll have another funding round in January for subcommittees that didn't get theirs approved this round. Right.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And,
Oh, excellent. Thanks.
you can tell your dad you got a Lions.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to the semi-quincentennial.
Yep, nailed it. That's good.
That's all. I gotta get my gavel here. The meeting is adjourned until December 2nd. That's our next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
And if anybody wants to stay and talk to Ann about the holiday shopping in the
Yeah,
corner.
thank you.